Hey folks, welcome to Organizational Theory in Line, the online version. This is Dr. Grimes, and what I'm going to do in this video is to share screen, show you the syllabus, and talk through the important things about it so that at the very beginning of the semester, the very first day of class, you know exactly what I'm expecting, exactly what I'm looking for, and what you got to do to get the grade that you want. If you haven't already done so, pause this video to print out that syllabus. You'll want to make notes on it as we go to make sure that you remember certain things. While you are pausing and doing that, I'm going to be sharing screen so that we can pick up right away when you are back. All right, I assume that you've gotten that syllabus printed and you're looking at what I've got right here. Organizational Theory and Behavior online class. What we've got on here is my cell phone number here. Feel free to text me, feel free to call me when you're really stumped about something. If you text me, remind me who you are and that it's Org Theory, because I won't have you in my contact list and I'll think, okay, great question, but I have no idea how to answer it because I don't even know who this is. So tell me you're Susie from Org Theory. If you happen to be on campus, I'm in room 214 is my office. It is directly across the street from the lake. I can look out my window and see that, and I'm usually going to be here Monday through Friday from 8:30 in the morning until 1 p.m. except for class times. I'm going to have on-campus classes Tuesday and Thursday from 9:30 to 10:45 and from 12:30 to 1:45. So Monday and Wednesday and Friday pretty much all morning I'm here, and Tuesday and Thursday little gaps. You can look through the objectives. Most of the things that we want to try to accomplish are done through the assignments of the class. In fact, number 1, number 2, 3, all of these things are going to be accomplished through assignments, and 4, 5, 6, and 7 specifically are through, something that I'm going to refer to as concept assignments. There are 5 of those in the grading process, and 4 of the 5, all five of them. Number 1 deals with number 3, I guess, here, and then 4, 5, 6, and 7 are concept activities 2, 3, 4, and 5. Anyway, let's go ahead and move on through this. Your textbook is online. You do not have to pay for it. Every single week there are going to be links that you can click on in the Advanced Organizer on the content section of the class, where it'll take you straight to that section of the textbook that you can read online. You do have to have 3 ProctorU access codes, but before you buy that bundle in the bookstore, we're going to go over something in another page or so on this. Before we get into that, though, let's take a look at here it is, the ProctorU stuff on page number 3 of the syllabus here. Pricing for ProctorU is really a function of how long the test lasts. The longer the test, the more expensive, because they have to have the consultant observing for longer. But anything under 2 hours is a little cheaper to pay directly out of pocket than through one of the access codes. The access code gives you like a 2 or 3 hour window. And many times in our classes, we don't design tests to last that long. So the 3 bundle pack from the bookstore gets it all out of the way right at first. And when you log into the test, you key in one of those access codes. But you do pay a little bit more, and yet you can use financial aid to pay for that. My exams are 75 minutes. So you're actually cheaper if you pay for those at the time of logging into the exam rather than getting the access code ahead of time. But it's coming out of pocket and you don't get to use financial aid. So you choose whether you want to go ahead and get the bundle and use financial aid, perhaps have it all done before you start, or whether you want to pay for each one as you go. That's up to you. But you will need to plan for 3 ProctorU exams. For as far as grading goes, your enrollment verification activities are a very small percent of your overall grade. You're going to get points for doing those things, and you're going to have a percentage of your overall final grade reflected by that. I think I scrolled right past that before. Let's see if we can find where that was. Yes, attendance verification. There's 2 pieces of that, and you need to do both of them. If you only do one out of the 2, I got to go, well, do I give them credit? Do I not? The first part is a check-in quiz. and it's in the quizzes section of the class. There's 5 questions. There's a point per question. They're not hard. I'm going to ask you for an alternate email address like Gmail or Yahoo or something like that. I'm going to ask you for a cell phone number. Both that alternate email address and the cell phone is just in case you go absent for a bit and I need to get in touch with you. So I can text you and say, is everything okay? I haven't seen you log in a while, that kind of thing. But you need to make sure you do that. The second thing is that I want you to kind of experiment a little bit with video recordings. It's common to have a discussion board where you introduce yourself, but this will be my second semester in a row, summer and this one, experimenting with a different format of hello discussions. I want you to use your video camera and to record a short little 2-minute video where you say, hey, I'm such and such and I live in Atlanta, and during the day I work here and I'm this close to being graduated, or and something interesting about my family, all that kind of stuff, in about 2 minutes. Then save it to a YouTube video, and in the discussion board you post the link to that YouTube video, and that'll be your discussion. Hello discussion. I think that is, after practicing over the summer, I've come to believe that seeing your face and hearing you talk is a whole lot better than writing what you typed. So we'll ask you to create a video, to post that video, and then to watch the rest of your class's videos and comment on those videos. Hey, I see you're interested in kayaking too, man. I love that. Or hey, I know that you apparently you love Disney. Hey, my sister works at Disney, or whatever the case may be. Make a couple of comments on a couple of people. But those 2 things, that check-in quiz and that hello video, are parts of the enrollment verification. You need to do both of them by midnight on Tuesday, August the 24th. I put 11:59 p.m. so we don't just get lost between 12 noon, 12 midnight, whatever. Do both of those things, all right? The check-in quiz is worth 5 points. The hello video is worth 25 points, so 30 total, but that is only worth 5% of your grade. There are 25 quizzes in all during the material, but we're only counting 23 of them. You'll get to drop the 2 lowest grades out of those 25. So if there's 2 weeks you just don't get to it and you get a 0 on it, that's okay, as long as those are the only 2 bad grades you've got, because we'll drop them. But every single reading section will have a quiz that goes along with it, and it may be 10 questions, it may be 5 or 6 questions, but it's totaling 10 points. So sometimes there'll be just a question like, GSW is located in what state, ABCD, and it may be worth 2 points, just trying to help you build your grade a little bit. We'll take those 230 possible points. We'll divide into that the number you got. Maybe you got 200 out of 230. That is, 87% or something, and that 87% will be weighted at 0.25 towards your final grade. Assessment recaps, I'll talk about it a little bit more in depth in just a minute, but there's 4 blocks of personal self-assessments that you're going to do, and at the end of each block you're going to think about those things and you're going to write a little bit about what you learned about yourself. Each one of those recaps, the 4 of them, worth 15 points, and the percentage of the 60 will be weighted at 15%. 4 exams, 3 basic exams and then a final exam, each worth 100 points. Those are 30% of your overall grade. And then concept activities, like I talked about in the objectives, is a little writing assignment, maybe a page where here's the setting or the scenario. Write what you would do, or write what you think is the why this is, or whatever the instructions tell you to do. Each one of those is worth 20 points. So your 90 out of 100 is 90%, and that's weighted at 25. So you can look over here, you can see where there's 820 total points, and it all factors in somehow to a total 100% grade. But some things are worth more than other things. If you don't do as well on the assessment recaps, it's only 15% of your grade overall. You bomb a couple of tests, 70% of your grade comes from things other than tests. So as long as you're getting 60s or better on your tests, you're still in decent shape for the class. Don't get too freaked out over any one particular item, because each one has a small part overall in the big picture. All right, so we talked about verification activities and the chapter quizzes, the assessment recaps. A lot of the units that we're doing, like we're going to read section 3.2, and I'll have a little video lecture over it. There may be an assessment that goes with it. That's a document that you'll print out, check, score this statement on a scale of 1 to 5, and then here all your 5s are worth these number of points, and here's your final total, and what does it mean? You'll do a series of those. The first assessment recap block is just assessments 1 through 4, and the second assessment block is like 5 through 12. When you do these things regularly and you put them in a folder, and then when the time comes, generally at exam time, you'll pull these out, you'll think about them, and you'll write a little assessment of maybe a page, not much, where you pick a couple of those things and say, hey, these were my scores, this is what those scores mean, and here's what I learned. Here's an example from my life that illustrates that. Or I got this score and I was really surprised by that because I thought I would get that score, and why do I think it was different? But assessing yourself is a big part of this class, and then being able to reflect back on that about what you learned is a big part of that. The exams, 30%. I'm giving you the material that each one covers. They're open for a window of 4 days. The first 3 start on a Friday, go Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. They're through ProctorU appointment. The exam for the final includes all of this stuff. There'll be questions word for word from the first 3 exams, and then stuff over the last little unit. And it's open Sunday through Wednesday of finals week. And the final exam will not use ProctorU. All right, so continuing to roll through this, got to get a C to count towards graduation. After things are weighted, you've got a 70 or better, 80 or better, 90 or better. Here's what I kind of think about as I'm assigning grades to that stuff. How fast will you see your grades? Generally within about 4 business days. A lot of things I grade the very next day. Quizzes you'll know immediately because they're true, false, multiple choice, and it scores it for me. When you have to write something like the assessment recaps, the concept activities, exams will have a few essay questions. So you'll get a score that tallies up your true, false, and multiple choice, but then there's a little block that's writing that I got to read through and adjust your grade. Those kinds of things, the assessment recaps, the concept activities, and the exams, I'm going to build in a little bit of a window for me of 4 days. Usually I'll get it before that. So, but if you haven't seen it within 4 business days of completing it, you need to ask me about it. Plagiarism, academic integrity, disabilities, make sure that you go online and fill out the information to get the accommodations that you need. Something new that we've been encouraged to put in our syllabi is information about mental health services, and whether you're on campus or you're online, there are resources that GSW is providing for you that can help you deal with those rough times in life. So keep this part of the syllabus. You see that is no charge for all of these things, and there are you can call people on GSW. There's some third-party types of things that you can call numbers for and talk to somebody if you having issues, and that it goes for online students as well as on-campus students. Email, classroom policies, missed work, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt once, up to 2 days late. But if you start submitting everything late, I'm going to start giving you zeros. So I know that I have dictated your schedule, and it's not always convenient to you. If you know you're going to be out of town, let me know ahead of time instead of after the fact. If you're have an emergency, as soon as you possibly can, say, I'm at the hospital with my mom, it looks like it's going to be a couple of days. We'll work with it, but the earlier I know, the better, okay? Final grades, if something is concerning to you, talk to me about it earlier, but please don't say, why did I get an 8 out of 10 on this quiz? Why can't I get a 10 out of 10? I'm going to say, listen, 2 points on one quiz is like 0.07 of your overall grade. Let's not argue about fractions of a point on a 100-point scale. Let's talk about big things. Subject to change. We may have to change some things around if COVID gets really bad, because my on-campus classes will go online, and that'll change a little bit of the time that I have to spend on your class. Here are the critical dates. Here are things related to our class. Notice that for the exams, I tell you the day that it closed and the last possible time that you can make an appointment with ProctorU. And then here's the calendar that kind of gives you an idea of what we're going to cover each particular week. This stuff is available on Sunday mornings at 1 a.m., so you can work on it anytime you want to during the week. For example, this week, all you got to do is look through the syllabus, do the check-in quiz, and the hello activity, the hello video discussion. Next week, you're going to actually read 2 sections of the online textbook. There's a quiz that covers both of those sections, and there's an assessment that you're going to do. The next week, you're going to look at that those two sections, 3.2 and 3.3, and then you're going to look, and then you'll do quiz number 2, and then you'll look at 3.4, and you'll do quiz number 3. There's 2 assessments, and so forth going down. In the activity column, that is when the concept activity or the assessment recap opens, and it generally will be due Sunday the next week. So it'll be open Sunday morning, the 5th, but it'll be due by the time you go to bed on Sunday night, the 12th. So you got generally a whole week if you do this stuff early. The exams open on Friday, close on Monday in all 3 cases there. This one opens from Sunday to Wednesday, so it's 4 days every single time. Notice that generally speaking, I wasn't supposed to do that. Notice that generally speaking, you've got 2 quizzes a week. Those don't take a whole lot of effort. Assessments, there are a couple of weeks you have none. There is 1 week you've got 5. So just keep an eye on that and plan ahead. That's the main things about the syllabus. I'll put out some additional videos if you get into something and it's not going quite the way that I want it to. The concept activities can be a little bit difficult to understand, so I'm going to be working between now and then to get really good written directions and maybe even record a video that tells you how to go about doing this so that you'll do it well, so that you can see the purpose in it and you can understand how to be successful in doing it. All right, I'm going to stop sharing here. I hope that answers most of the questions that you have about the class, the expectations, that you have a good understanding of the syllabus. If you still have something you're not sure about, in the class discussion board section, there's the one called Ask Dr. Grimes. Go out there and post a question, and I will respond to that. Everybody else can see your question and my response. You can also use that to ask each other questions. I'm going to let it go for now at about 17 minutes. Contact me if you do have questions. Otherwise, let's have a great start to the semester. Let's start learning a lot about organizational activities and about yourself and how you can relate to other people. Bye for now.